Archangel Gabriel, Master Jesus, Parallel Paths and Solar Garment, December 29, 2016. Christine, in the message Archangel Gabriel announces changes. Published on November 24, 2016. I think that Archangel Gabriel's objective was to draw a parallel between what happened to Jesus and what will happen to us in the period of transition, as we have been integrating Christ consciousness in the same way that the Master Jesus did 2,000 years ago. He demonstrated the path and integrated Christ consciousness. That's what made him different from us before, but now we are doing that too. Healing is part of what happens on the path of the personal ascension and initiation, as well as in a parallel way in the global ascension experienced by mankind. At first it was gradual, then certain aspects of this process will be accelerated from about February 2017 because of some changes in the universal law that are related to our global shift to fourth density, and then eventually, souls will be restored to full consciousness after some preparation for the global shift to fifth density, or fifth dimension in physicality. Sometime we are ready for a shift but have to wait for the masses or the right time for something to occur according to the divine timetables, so it is difficult to say whether that shift to fifth density will take place in years or decades, and we may have to wait for a precise statement from the ascended masters or archangels to gain a greater understanding of what is to occur in the future, though much has already been said. Archangel Gabriel mentioned the fact that the Master Jesus went to the east, and returned to the Himalayas after his ascension at the end of his human life, just as the Master Saint Germain did. By mentioning the fact that Jesus the Christ went to the east, did not die on a cross, and was taken aboard a ship to a light chamber, for healing and transfiguration, Archangel Gabriel meant to draw a very important parallel, as what happened to the Master Jesus was what we call a template, a pattern of ascension, or path that has to be followed and that many already have in the past because they were able to ascend without having to wait for the time of global ascension. In many cases souls have ascended after death without taking their body with them, and it is more difficult to do so as changes have to take place at DNA level as well as in the atomic structure of the body. This is why we are experiencing shifts to higher densities. A few years ago Saint Germain obtained a dispensation so that we would not have to balance 100% of our individual karma so we could ascend more easily. The requirement then became 51%. It has been achieved by the end of March 2016 in a global way. I mean the global karma for the Earth reached 51% at the end of March 2016 as announced in a message of that date by my I Am Presence. Now that a great many more dark beings have been removed in the harvest, this figure is probably higher and many ascended beings, or star seeds, in incarnation have come without any negative karma. In the most recent video with a teaching on the initiations that are given upon the path of ascension, it has been explained that we receive initiations in an individual way while at the same time we are affected by the global shifts and global ascension. There is a parallel between the initiations received upon the individual path and the changes and shifts taking place globally, for mankind, and as a result for the Earth. We create our own kingdom because reality is holographic, so we first rise in consciousness and some changes that are physical or in our reality follow. However, a wave of mankind that is still dwelling in consciousness in the third dimension is still going through the process of being awakened at the time we are about to cross into the new year of 2017. And therefore the prophecy about the use of light chambers in the time of transition, which is just beginning, may only be for some individuals who have reached a certain level of initiation, and for mankind globally it's more likely to occur as a result of the global shift to fifth density, which is to happen at the end of the period of transition, which is going to be one of preparation for this shift, and will take many years, and perhaps decades for the mass of mankind. I hope my interpretation is correct. The Master Jesus dictated the following to me, and now is the time. A message I received by Thought transmission on June 20, 2016. Master Jesus, the group of souls that has not yet been anchored upon the fifth dimension, but will be elevated to join the other two groups that have already reached that status, is presently being affected by the waves of photonic light, the peak of which will be experienced and produce its result, towards the end of this year. It's being shaken to the core. So the motto now is broadcast love, not hate, or feel love, control your feelings. Pass on this teachings with regard to the control of hate, light workers, faithful to the light, who have already found calm, peace and love, and are bringing new paradigms to this world, as well as are transforming it by the way you are. You are being loved back by the forces of heaven, with which you have a personal inner connection, as well as by your galactic family. And you feel it within yourself. You feel that divine presence, and it is going and descending. It is manifesting in your world. It is Christ consciousness, the light body, transcending all conditions till you have the manifestation of the fifth world known to the Hopi Indians, the fifth kingdom of the Master Draw-Cool, the fifth dimension of the physical angels in embodiment, or of heaven upon earth. So dear ones, I will part on this note. I leave you enfolded in my love, and it will be for eternity. Jesus Yeshua. Christine. The time of transition is upon us, as the establishment has been successfully opposed, and February is mentioned because some changes that are related to our global shift to fourth density will be taking place. In my introduction to Archangel Gabriel's message published on November 24, 2016, I stated, quote, "The laws applying to the shift to fourth density will only be applied to our everyday use of the light of God, from about February 2017. This seems to relate to certain transformations that the celestial forces have caused to occur in the earth, such as the dismantling of the lower astral plane, the clearing of the astral one, and the removing of the foundations supporting the third-dimensional physical reality which some of you refer to as the Matrix. We are therefore to expect some changes. Our spiritual work, our visualizations, in one word, our magic, is going to be magnified at that time, and their effects, or precipitation, will be accelerated. They should occur faster and with more certainty. Some healing in light chambers is also to take place at one time during the period of transition which has started following the victory of the light in relation to the opposition to the establishment in the battle of the elections. This time of transition is leading to the great events of first contact with our galactic family of higher dimensions, as well as other celestial connections, and these contacts will take place in a very physical way because we shall have been elevated upon the ladder of the dimensions on the path of the ascension. The healing that the technology of higher dimensions offers is the promised transfiguration and resurrection of the body that is talked about in Scripture. Christine, we are globally shifting to fourth density. This is a process that is constant, and it can be compared to moving in more deeply within the fourth density, having crossed the confines and boundaries, or the fringes of the fourth dimension. Following the reception of a teaching and of contact with the mentors, mankind will be prepared for a shift to fifth density, but in a sense this has already been taking place for many because of their position upon the path of ascension, or the level of their spirituality. From February we should be receiving healing in a more intense manner because our magic will be accelerated, and we don't yet know exactly when, as it will be different for everyone, but we will eventually be taken to light chambers and be given a similar resurrection of the body from the human consciousness of mortality in those light chambers of a higher dimensional technology. In Now Is the Time, a message I received by Thought transmission on June 20, 2016, there. Master Jesus stated, Master Jesus, today you are experiencing a different kind of liberation, one from a secretive anarchy that has controlled mankind, and indoctrinated it with erroneous notions. A revolution in spirit and consciousness is taking place. The liberation comes from the seventh ray of Saint Germain and the impulse of cosmic energies projected to Earth in this age of Aquarius, the hierarchy of which is Saint Germain, who has been known for centuries as the Count of Saint Germain, and has a reputation as the man who never dies. The violet transmuting flame also is the energy of forgiveness that erases the records, their causes and cause and memory. Its liberating effects will also cause the restoration of the rights relating to every human being in the time of transition to a quantum leap to the fifth dimension in some years to come, in terms of coming changes to your physicality. The true democracy of the Founding Fathers will be resurrected, and America is still promised to function as an example to other nations, when corruption is abolished and righteousness is resurrected in the land. Its truth and values have been desecrated because of the infiltration of dark powers in the government to its core, and therefore the divine representatives have not ruled over men. God over men is what government is supposed to be, but has not been for many decades. Now is the time for that descent, externalization, or manifestation. Mankind has to let go of the dweller on the threshold, that phantom that is the not-self, and is a perversion in the psychological makeup of the qualities and virtues present in Christ consciousness. So when you hate, you manifest an Antichrist. It is a miscreation that has prevented souls to ascend after death and to escape the wheel of incarnations. Life on Earth is a classroom for the revolutions that have been sent here to evolve. There are others, star seeds and angelic ones, who have been veiled but have come for another purpose, and also have a karma to balance, or sometime don't, and have come to provide a service in the project of ascension. The ego, and whatever is keeping you from the path of righteousness, has to be surrendered. Not only is this related to your deeds but to your thoughts and feelings. The Buddhists know that you can hurt another being by your thoughts and feelings. So they abstain from any wrong thoughts and feelings. These notions were taught by Jesus the Christ 2,000 years ago, but may have been lost in the systems of belief that some people follow in the West. Not many people seem to realize that their own thoughts and feelings can have an effect. Now is the time to let go of these negative feelings and emotions, of criticism and condemnation, as we have a cosmic window for a graduation which is your only opportunity in these end days, when evil has to be removed, and when it closes, it will be for many thousands of years. Now is the time for graduation for as many souls as possible among the great mass of mankind. A lot of help is being dispensed at the moment for mankind's progression upon the path of initiation, as well as a phase during which the souls that are not anchored in consciousness upon the fifth dimension yet, they are being stripped of a veil that they have created, and that is also the result of the ancient tampering of their genetic makeup. This psychic cleaning up and disentanglement has to occur before they can receive enlightenment. Disclosure is in itself a catalyst for the surfacing of feelings in reaction to many intellectual notions. So, Therefore, broadcast love and not hate should perhaps be the new motto. The souls that are not able to graduate will eventually be relocated to another Earth-like planet, where they will continue their evolution in the third dimension of duality. Mother Earth is moving on, and if you want to remain on her, allow the waves and tsunamis of love to change you. The projection of hate upon another being is particularly generated in systems of beliefs that are extremist or in any sort of fanaticism. There are some that are the result of misinterpretation of the records made many thousands of years ago, which we call biblical scripture, but have in some cases been edited and compiled about 300 years after the original teachings were written down. A conspiracy has been at work to suppress truth, and mankind is therefore excused to some extent for its ignorance. It has been the victim of indoctrination, and information has been controlled from education to science and in respect of all the fields of life. This is why the project of disclosure is so important. Christine, the Master Jesus gave us some precious information as part of his announcement concerning the solar garments for the Ascension in November 2015, as follows: Master Jesus, I am Christ, the consciousness of higher realms that you are going to experience as you raise yourselves in the process of ascension. So I, in the person of the Chimaras and other higher beings, came up with a plan of ascension, of raising the material plane of the galaxy to a level that would be beyond the reach of the corrupt ones. I could see that their corruption imprisoned the souls of the people whose worlds had been hurled into a spiral of decadence by the law of cause and effect. It was a spiral of miscreation that ended nowhere but in pain, suffering and death. My mission consisted in putting an end to this vicious circle, and it brought Christ consciousness to the soul, and it was to be made available in the process of ascension after a scheme consisting in the eradication of the Antichrist forces which we have been overcoming, both by strategies of the light and strategies pertaining to the Armageddon of the soul. Light consumes darkness. Christ consciousness is the light body descending now in the process of ascension. It is the power that changes mankind's DNA, in coordination with the effects of the photonic light and of the stargate the solar system has penetrated on September 28 this year. Archangel Michael has explained that it was possible to enter the stargate in a way that would be beneficial to all mankind for the stripping off of unwanted elements so that certain changes can take place. The objective is peace and a gradual disclosure concerning the truths that have been suppressed. What I have alluded to in my historical background hardly scratches the surface of the iceberg, never mind the invisible part of it which will be exposed in the peak of disclosure that will take place in coming months to mankind. The announcement that I wanted to make is that there is to be a physical effect in this ascension in the not-too-far future, as some among the lightworkers who are ready for the ascension are being fitted with the solar body suit of ascension. It is an etheric envelope or garment. In previous ages, for comparison, when the ascension was taking place after death, the soul was taken out of its mortal astral and mental envelopes, or vehicles. It was then given its wedding garment, the solar garment of ascension, for the reintegration with Christ consciousness. The metaphor has indeed been used that the soul is the bride of Christ. You may get mental images or perceptions during this operation, especially if you have acquired psychic abilities such as the one for telepathic communication, which is accompanied of perceptions. The practice of the visualization of the tube of light and solaring ties you to Christ consciousness. The more you practice it, the more you may be able to experience a perception of what is taking place at the spiritual or auric level while the angels work on you. When you are out of the body and receive healing, this healing eventually manifests in a physical way. Many of you are experiencing healing at this time. My announcement is with regard to the fact that waves of lightworkers, people who are ready for the ascension, and are integrating Christ consciousness, will be fitted with a bodysuit of ascension that will be replacing a thin layer of your astral body. This solar garment will then manifest a gradual transfiguration in your physical body. This is how the lightworkers will start being healed, gain further enlightenment, and go through a process of rejuvenation that will literally amount to transfiguration. Other people will start noticing the changes and will ask themselves questions. Eventually they will want to follow in the footsteps of the lightworkers, and this will give the latter opportunities to take part in more disclosure, or to impart teachings to humanity. Then the bodysuit of ascension will be fitted upon more souls, and in this way we can still talk in terms of waves of ascension. So this was my update and good news for you. I am Jesus, I am in your heart and with you always, releasing to you my eternal blessings. Tilda Christine Preston.